Hey, what's happening? Oh my gosh.
It's been forever.
It has been forever. It's been way too long.
Yes, I think the last time we saw each other was right before the election at Berkner. When we had the candidate forum.
Regina, I don't know if you had a I don't know if you had a chance at all to see an email I sent today, but we want to, our organization just wants to support you all however we can. So if y'all want to get into that at all, that's great. Just know that we want to help you.
Yeah, I did see it, and I actually passed it on to Karen, because you know Karen Clardy, right?
Oh, what is
our board president?
Okay. Oh, good. Thank you for doing that. Okay, I see.
Yeah, her name is Karen Clardy. So
she's in the she's in the group.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'll be on tonight.
Yeah, she's in the group.
Yeah, she'll be on tonight.
I am going to, Danita, I'm gonna make it go live and just turn it on. Okay.
Okay.
So
Hope my crazy internet holds up for me tonight. I don't know why.
I think that's what was happening with me. We switched internet providers yesterday, and it's been kind of wonky.
And you know what? I actually need to get it checked, because whenever I use my board computer, even when I'm on my board meetings, it kicks me out. It shows my internet this much. But when I'm on my personal computer, I'm fine. But what I did was I left my personal computer at a friend's house.
Oh, well, there we go.
I know. So, and then I was too lazy when I left my office today to stop by there.
Yeah,
my computer.
I ended up switching because more than likely we're going to do virtual, whether the school district pushes it back, we're going to do virtual. And I know during the spring it was kind of lagging because there was so many of us on it. So I said, well, let me go ahead on and switch it and get this out of the way so I don't have those hiccups.
Yeah.
All righty, we are live. Welcome everyone to our
Danita. I haven't put it yet.
Yes.
I haven't put it yet.
Oh, I thought it was live. It says, oh, good. Never mind.
So yeah,
it's been.
Regina, if you want to talk about that at all, and also like how we know either school closing, school delays, plus just sickness and everything is going to hurt our Black and Brown communities more. We want to help however we can.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, and I did get your email. It was fantastic. I'll have to kind of read through it again to kind of massage all of it and absorb all of it. It was great though.
Well, y'all are, I mean, all of you in these leadership positions now have so much on your plates. So we just want you to know that we are here to help you, okay?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I know as a mom, it's stressful.
Yes.
But, I'm just like, Lord have mercy. My son, he's like, you got another email? I was like, yes. I said, because they don't know. This is uncharted territory. It's hard to try to navigate. And there's always going to be somebody that's not pleased with the decision. And you don't know what to do.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
It's just.
Yeah, it was.
Yay, you guys.
Yeah, it was interesting. I had something going on earlier this week, and I think my phone started ringing probably about 2:30ish about the situation.
Oh.
And I think I had my last call about it about 11:45 that night.
Oh.
So my son comes in there and he's like, Mom, you've been on the phone all day. He was like, are you okay?
Yeah. I can only imagine this. And then you're getting it from everywhere. You're getting from people that personally know you. You're getting it probably from people that from work, like, you're on the board, so what are y'all going to do? And, everyone's trying to get the inside scoop. Like, we have no idea.
Right.
We don't know yet.
I know. I just got a text from Karen. She's trying to figure out how to get in.
Tell her
I don't think we
guessing.
I don't think we've went live yet.
No.
Okay.
But it'll be streaming directly to the Facebook page.
Yeah.
Okay, so just tell her it'll stream directly on.
Yeah. Here it goes. Okay. I'm going to say with Regina Harris now. Okay. Go live. Go live anyway.
And now we're live on Facebook. Okay. Thanks, Larry, our IT technical person.
Okay.
Welcome everyone to our Facebook Live. We're meeting with board member Regina Harris, who represents our Lake Highlands area. And before we get into any discussions, Regina's gonna give us a little bit of background about herself, because I don't think, maybe some of you know, maybe some of you don't know, that prior to the board, Regina was very active within our schools and our PTAs. So Ms. Harris, you can go ahead and tell us, how did you get to this point?
All right, thank you so much. So let's see, where do I want to start? Yeah, so Regina Harris. I am originally from Hamilton Park. So I was born and reared right here in the neighborhood. So I attended Hamilton Park Pacesetter Magnet at the time. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, Pacesetter Magnet at the time. And then went on to Northwood Junior High, which is now RISD Academy, and then graduated from Richardson High School, and then went on to graduate from Grambling State University. So came back to Dallas, you know, became an adult, all that good stuff. Didn't come back to Hamilton Park until my son was about, I think he was second grade. And so I put him into Hamilton Park, and immediately I wanted to get involved. Even when I lived in Mesquite, I got involved. I got on to the PTA. I mean, it was a little different out there. So I came to Hamilton Park, got on the PTA, and immediately I wanted to get super involved. I didn't want to just be a parent, you know, sitting out in the audience. I wanted to make a difference. And so I started to poke around and ask questions. You know, how do I do this? What does this mean? And the ladies there on the PTA helped me out, and they said, hey, you know, we need someone on Ways and Means. We need someone, you know, on membership. And so I did those things at Hamilton Park, as well as, you know, the 6th grade graduation. And then after Hamilton Park, my son went to West. And then at West, I again did Ways and Means. And then our president at the time had to step down. And I took her place and became the president at West, which was really unusual and kind of uncharted territory. I was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? So, but it was great. It was great. It was a fantastic time. After that, my son is now at Richardson High School. He's an incoming senior. And I took on the role of president over at Richardson High School for his 9th and 10th grade year. And I guess when Brian, my son's name is Brian, when Brian was in junior high school, someone approached me and said, hey, you know, you should look into getting on the school board. And I will be honest with you, I had no clue about the school board, didn't know what that meant, didn't know what they do. I was like, well, okay, I'll look into it. And so I did a little bit of research, and I thought to myself, wow, this is another one of those free things. I'm like, I was like, what in the world do I want to do that for? I volunteered, you know, the entire time my son has been in school. So when he was in junior high, you know, it came and it went. I was like, no, you know, I don't think I have time for that. Well, because of my involvement on the PTA and Danita, you remember kind of taking those trips to Austin and walking those steps of Austin, and not seeing a whole lot of people that look like me that support our kids and really champion and advocate for our kids. I thought, wow, I got to figure out something else to do here. You know, this PTA gig is pretty cool, but, you know, I got to figure this out. And then also being on the PTA, I was able to become, you know, closer to the board and kind of understand what they were doing and what their role was, their impact to the students, their impact to the district, what they were able to decide on, because I was also on council board as well. So not only was I on the local unit PTA, I was also on council board. Right. So at council board meetings, you know, we interacted with the board quite a bit. And I thought, wow. So someone approached me again and said, hey, you know, you should look into getting on the board. So I said, you know what? I think I'm going to go for it. And I will tell you, at that time, I thought, oh, you know, this is going to be easy peasy because nobody's interested in being on the board. Because at that time, the board was all white people, all white people. And nobody from my community is going to be interested because nobody even knows about this, right? What happened? David Tyson sued the district and brought about a huge visibility to everybody about the board and brought about an opportunity for everyone, which was great. And so then people in my community started to get, you know, involved and said, hey, I'm kind of interested too. And so initially when I decided to run for the board, that run was delayed because of the lawsuit. So I had to wait. And then when the lawsuit was over and we went to single member district, so now you've got District 4.
Yes.
So that's when my community really got involved. And guess what? Now I was up against 3 African-American women, which was absolutely awesome. Because that's what you want to see. You want to see people that look like you, that want to get involved, that want to sit on that board. But I tell you what, I was so passionate about being on this board because I knew what I wanted to do. You know, I knew that I wanted to make some type of a difference, some kind of way, not just to our Black and brown students, but to all of the students in RISD and to my community. You know, I wanted to educate my community. I wanted to let them know what's going on in the schools. How do you get the information? What is PTA all about? Because everybody knows what they say about the PTA. All their cliquish is nothing but a bunch of white people. They won't accept me. I don't want to do what they want to do. And then if that's not the excuse, it's always, I don't have time. There's so much to do. There's so much to do. So I ran hard. I mean, I ran for this position hard. I had my entire family and friends out pounding the pavement.
Yes.
Hanging flyers. I mean, I did it all. And it was a super close race between me and one of the other candidates. And I could not sleep the night before. But I tell you, about 1 o'clock in the morning when I saw the results, I just had to just kind of sit on the couch in a daze. Because then I thought, what did I do?
Now the work starts.
Now the work absolutely starts. And so I was elected in November. And as soon as I was elected, you know, I just wanted to get into the schools. You know, I wanted to see how things work. I'm not an educator. So there's so much that I need and still need to learn about the doings and workings inside the schools. You know, it's time for us to listen to our students, to our administrators, to our teachers, to our staff, understand what their needs are, what their goals are, you know, what their passions are, you know, and I was just determined to do that. And so, you know, I did it when I could, and then COVID hits. So, I'm just like, are you kidding me? And so, you know, it's kind of, you know, it made us kind of, well, you know, we went into COVID mode during spring break.
Right.
And so ever since then, it's just been this Zoom. But it's been different from, you know, when I came onto the board. Of course, this is different for everybody. But there's still a lot of work to do. And, you know, actually, you know, just like I was telling you before we started live, initially we kind of talking about some other things that was more strategic about what's going on in RISD, what the board is going to do. But then I thought to myself, this platform gives me an opportunity to talk about what I'm passionate about. And what I'm passionate about in RISD is making the people that look like me, brown and Black people, know how important getting involved in the school district is. And that there's so many different opportunities to get involved. It's not just the PTA.
Mhm.
It's not just, your kids have to be involved in something. You've got to pay all this money. You've got to do this. There's just so many other different things that you can get. And when you're sitting at the table, it's just, you're able to be more proactive about things as opposed to being reactive.
Right.
And it's just such a great opportunity to be educated about what's going on and to enhance your child's educational experience. All PTA moms out there, you know what I mean when you say there's been so many times you've been at that
Yes.
school so much that your kids' friends are like, doesn't your
Yeah.
mom work here?
No.
I'm like, no, I don't work here.
Yes. Many times.
You know it well. So that's basically my volunteer RISD career. And I'd like to add to that I am a parent and I'm a working parent. Not only am I a working parent, I'm a working single mom.
Woot, woot.
So whoop, whoop. So I say that to say it can be done.
Right.
It can be done. And I'm not saying that it's easy. It's not easy at all, because I will tell you that being on the PTA is super hard work. It's
Yes.
so hard work that you don't even realize that it's, especially at the elementary school level, you don't know how hard that work is until you're on the board or you're doing something else. Then you realize how being on the PTA, you are in the trenches.
Right.
You are lifting, you are moving, you are on that computer, you are as treasurer. Yes. Now you are, a financial expert.
Yeah.
As Ways and Means VP.
You are
a
hosted.
marketer.
Yeah. Every time you step into the community, you're a representative of the school and of the kids that you represent. We have that PTA background, and so how do you see our Black and brown parents getting more involved? Because I've noticed since your election, they've become more vocal. I've noticed that at my own kids' school, parents that look like me are more vocal now.
Yes.
And I think it has a lot to do with that they feel they have an ally on the board.
Yeah.
Do you get that sense?
I do get that sense. And, what I do, and I've done this my entire career, my entire volunteering career. During registration, and I did it specifically to my Black and brown families and parents, even if I was not membership, and the parents would walk by the membership table, I would run up and say, can I talk to you for a second?
Mm-hmm.
And I would have a personal one-on-one conversation about how important it is to sign your kid up for PTA, that it means so much more than just getting a t-shirt and no more, the days of, baking pies and cookies and all that stuff, it's kind of gone away.
Yeah.
It's about scholarship opportunities. It's about sitting at the table. It's about going to Austin and advocating for your kids.
Yes. To have that connection that my kids and I had when we went to Austin for advocacy day. That was amazing. For my daughter to get to sit with her representative and tell her representative what's wrong in her eyes with our school system. Yes. I mean, that's not something they can learn in the classroom. And I think parents, kids, everyone needs to participate in PTA. Everyone. Even if you don't have any kids at the school, you need to become a community member.
Yes.
Because you are, even though you don't have any children in the school and you're not in the school and you didn't go to that school, you are a representation of those kids that go to that school.
Right.
You have to be, the example. And I think this group shows people in Lake Highlands, whether you're a parent or not, or just an advocate, how important it is to be the voice of the voiceless. And it's really important because our kids are not being voiceless anymore.
Right. Yes, that is super important. And then the other thing about, that's a great point that you make, whether you have kids in the district or not. If you live there, go ahead and be a member, because guess what? Austin looks at those numbers.
Yeah.
And when they see those huge PTA numbers, they're going to react.
Yeah.
They're going to react. And that's where we're going to get funding and support from our representatives, because they know that we're serious. Here comes those PTA moms, so yes, that is super, super important. Yeah. But yeah, I would just pull them to the side and just kind of talk to them. And it's amazing how several years down the road, someone would come up to me and say, I remember you from registration, you made me sign my kid up from PTA, for PTA, or you made me sign my whole family up. And I'm like, yes, I did that, and it makes you feel proud. But in any capacity, even like at the high school, we even have opportunities on the PTA where you can sign up, to do the newsletter. And that's just sitting behind your computer.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So as someone that was new to the district 3 years ago, when I came into the school district and everyone was talking about, oh, Richardson ISD, the first thing I did was I went to the website of the school board. And when I went to the website of the school board, my first initial gut reaction was, oh God, here we go. Because all I saw were white faces.
Yes.
And I said to myself, how can they really represent my children? And they have no lived experience of my children. And
Right.
so when the lawsuit came about, I was like, okay, we're getting somewhere.
Yes.
And then you were elected. I was like, okay, yeah, we're really getting somewhere. So how, with where Richardson was 3 years ago, and where they are now with the diversity of the board and the recent election of the first Latino woman from the board.
Right.
How do you see the board going forward addressing these equity issues?
So we are actually having discussions about that right now. As you know, we also have another election that's coming up in November.
Right.
So we're going to be electing another board member. And so as that person comes on board, we are going to be doing some training around equity, diversity, and what that looks like and what that means on our board. There are some tough discussions that need to be had that have probably never been had on our current board. And all of us have a voice. And we're going to be a truly diverse board at this point. And actually, we already are. And so I think, and I'm hoping that, everyone on the board will be receptive to the training that's going to happen. Because I have had an opportunity, I'm on the Equity and Diversity Committee. And, I've gone to some of the racial trainings. And
they're tough.
They're tough. They are tough.
They're tough.
They're tough. So I think that it will absolutely be an eye-opener for our entire board. And I think you were actually on the call with Angie Lee the other night to just kind of talk about equity and diversity. And, they actually covered, the whole gamut of diversity, not just ethnicity, but, they talked about the racial diversity. They talked about the religion, and then Angie Lee kind of talked about her own experience of, the bias between, boys and girls. And I told her that, it's eye-opening when you tell that story, because really you start to kind of look inside yourself and think, I need to kind of think about that, because this whole diversity thing is more than just black and white. So yeah, so I'm ready for it. Again, this year has really been just an unusual year for us. We haven't had an opportunity to do the things that have been planned. Typically during the summer, we do some training. We had to do that via Zoom this year, which, as you know, is different. It's just different. It's not like getting together and just truly having those tough and difficult conversations. And so we are, talking about moving forward and doing that as a board. We just haven't had an opportunity yet.
Okay. So as the board has their trainings, I'm assuming they will have cultural diversity and cultural competency training.
Yeah.
When they have these trainings, would they be these one and done trainings, or are they going to be continuous training?
Oh, you definitely need continuous training.
Okay.
You definitely need continuous training. Absolutely.
Okay, because some organizations, they throw that culture competency out there and that one implicit bias training, and poof, everything is fixed.
Yeah, and here's the thing too. I also truly believe that with bringing diversity to the board, in addition to training, you also have people who are sitting at the table now that can provide that training on a daily basis. And, we have to be comfortable, as I know me, as an African-American, to make sure that we are speaking up for our Black and brown children. And, Debbie Renteria, who's on the board now, our Latino mom who's on the board, she'll be able to do that from her perspective. So I look at it as we will be training ongoing for each other on the board. But as the true classes, I hope we will do that more often than just once. I would not suggest it be one and done.
Do you think it's beneficial, and would the board be willing to have their own individual roundtables with their district?
That's a great idea. I think it would be absolutely beneficial. Yes. I like that. And I know our president is probably on and listening, so she's probably taking notes.
So I wanted to also discuss with regards to the board. I know we've had past bond issues that have come up. As far as the bond issues, and I think we have an upcoming one, how are those monies, are any allocated for our diversity? Has any in the past been diverted for addressing our racial equities and disparities within our schools, within our district, or have they been earmarked for something else? Is there a way that we can fund these ideas that are being presented on a regular, ongoing basis throughout our schools?
Mm-hmm. Now, of course, I was just elected in November, but I was pretty close to the last bond that we have, and I don't think there was any monies that was allocated to any equity initiatives. Sure about the one coming up. I'll have to look into that and see, because I don't have a strong answer for you on that one.
Okay. With our district having different major corporations within it, is it plausible for us to get grants through them to initiate our equity, diversity, learning, and continual learning for our students and our staff?
Yeah, I'm sure there is. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So our racial and everything that's happening now, a lot of our students are becoming vocal.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of our students are becoming empowered.
Right.
And, sometimes our empowerment is really, really passionate,
Mm-hmm.
but our empowerment can look like it's anger.
Right.
So what's the good, because my daughter's sitting here on the floor, she won't get up. So in that impassion, and I know the equity committee is looking for students to be part of this board. My daughter's main question was, although they're looking for students, will their student voices be heard? or will we
Yes.
just be there?
I would say your students' voices will be heard, especially under the direction of Angie Lee. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
What grade's your daughter?
I have a junior, a senior, and a sixth grader.
Okay. And so the one that wants to get involved is?
She's a junior.
She's a junior.
Yeah, she's a junior.
Yeah.
She's my everybody.
Yeah. Now I can tell you from my personal experience. So I've served on several different committees within RISD, and the equity committee is one of those committees. And we would dig deep. I mean, we heard everybody's voice. And I will tell you that, one of the things that I appreciate about Dr. Stone is that she absolutely listens to the voice of the students. And I think that we have seen a representation of that with the whole student demands. So she's very passionate about what our students have to say. And I know that Angie Lee is absolutely passionate as well. So I would say, yes, the students will be heard. And those are the voices that we are looking for.
Okay. So in the atmosphere the current climate that we have, how important is it for you, for your constituents in your district to know that you're fighting for everyone, not just Black and brown kids because you are a person of color, but how important is it because in any office, people automatically assume you're pushing for your own.
Right.
So how important it is for you as a person of color to make sure that your white constituents, your white students know that you're hearing them and listening to them as well, and that on an equal basis as you are everyone else. How important is that to you?
That is extremely important. As a matter of fact, it's actually one of the things that I ran on during my campaign, is that I wanted to make sure that all students were inclusive, and that I'm running and speaking and advocating for all of our students in RISD. I know that, my title states District 4, but, I am responsible for RISD. Now, our students do have different needs. Mm-hmm. And so there is a point where you have to specifically focus on something for this district, and you have to specifically focus on something for this student or district area over here. And right. So I think that's where the difference comes in. But I am willing to spend as much time in each district that I do in my very own district, because all students are super important to me.
Awesome. I think, Ms. President, I think those individual roundtables will really help in that aspect, because I live in an apartment complex that's majority Hispanic. So I know our Hispanic population, they want to be heard,
yes,
but they don't necessarily know how to be heard.
Right.
I'm on the PTA board at Berkeley, and our board is very diverse. It's very diverse. And we always have a lot of support from our teachers and our students. But I think it's just hard for people to get involved from the PTA aspect, simply because they're afraid that in participating, maybe they won't be represented. Because like you said, the PTA can be cliquish. If you don't know people, if you don't know the particular person. Everyone is not outgoing. Some people are introverted by nature. Some people are shy. Yeah. And in working with the PTA as long as you did, how did you make sure that everyone felt like they were capable of being involved and you wanted them involved?
Because I treated everybody for who they are. And I don't want to say that I treat everybody the same, because everybody's not the same.
Okay.
And I appreciate everyone for what they bring to the table and what they're comfortable with bringing to the table. And things as simple as when someone walks in that door and you speak to them, sometimes you have made that person's day.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't do that different from this person to that person, even in corporate America. I mean, you know, you hear this all the time when you're interviewing for jobs. I know part of my career was recruiting and things of that nature. And one thing that I would always tell people is, you know, when you go and interview for a job, you respect everybody from the time you park your car to the time you get back to your car. So that means the parking lot attendant, when you get into the corporation, the secretary, the person that's cleaning up, the same thing in your school district. You treat everybody with respect, because everybody deserves respect. And I think that is so important. And I think that's where sometimes it gets a little lost when you are on the executive board of the PTA. Sometimes you do start to just be around that group of executive board members, but you've got to make sure that your passion for the students, your passion for the success of the PTA, and your passion for the success of the school resonates through everybody, even the students. Whenever I would go to my son's school, I mean, I spoke to everybody going through that school. I paid attention to every student from Hamilton Park all the way to Richardson High School. And I gave everybody that same respect. And then people will give it back to you. And then people will want to follow you. And that's what you want. That's how you kind of bring people on and get them to do the work, the hard work. And then it's how you help people know that they're valued. That's truly what it's about, is just letting people know that they are valued.
Now, I know we just got this announcement from Judge Clay Jenkins about the delays in school.
Yeah.
And I know this past spring, we had 700 kids that kind of like went missing because we didn't know how to get in contact with them.
Right.
Are we prepared now? Are we more prepared now to make sure we have contact with our students that are registered? And if not, how will we, for our, especially our low-income family, what would that look like? You know, those that don't have the internet access, how soon can they get the hot spots? Where do they need to go? Like,
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to kind of piggyback on, because you know all of this is kind of new to us as well. You know, we just got the announcement as well. But I'm gonna have to kind of piggyback on, you know, what I heard Dr. Stone say in our meeting the other day, which was when those 700 students came up missing and we couldn't find them, she and her administrative team did everything that they needed to do to find those students. And part of that meant pounding the pavement, knocking on doors, finding those students, you know, making sure that they had everything that they needed to equip them to do at-home learning. And I can almost assure you that we will do absolutely the same thing. And I will say that Dr. Stone and her team will probably do everything necessary to engage those students, make sure that we find them, make sure that we get those Chromebooks in their hands if they don't have them, and make sure that they get those hotspots if they don't have them. So I have that much confidence in Dr. Stone and her team that she is absolutely going to do the right thing, and we're going to find those students, and we're going to make sure that the majority of our RISD students are going to be equipped and ready to learn.
okay, awesome.
Yeah.
So let's see, what do I have? Do you have anything that you want to specifically address with regards to the new Racial Equity Committee, what it'll look like? Just in general, what parents and what can we expect?
Yeah, so most of that is really specific to Angie Lee, and I would just be a participant. But what I will say is, again, I did serve on the committee when it was first established, and it was such an eye-opening experience. It opened up opportunities for me to hear from people that, you know, live life differently than me, you know, and to hear the passion in students' voices, in teachers' voices, and to just dig in and do the work that has needed to be done for so long. And then the one thing that I always like to say too about RISD that I think a lot of people don't really understand, but I think they're beginning to understand it now, that this work has been going on for probably a good solid 2 years, that we've been working on all this equity and diversity and inclusion work in RISD. So for us, it's not really new. Just got to notice that my battery is getting low. I'm just gonna plug it up, so I'm gonna move around a little bit. Sorry about that. But yeah, so that's one of the things that I do appreciate it about Dr. Stone and her administrative staff, is that this work is not new. It's been something that they've been working on for quite some time. So it's not reactionary work. It's proactive work. All right, I think I'm good now. And and the reason why I say that is to say that once this next phase of the equity committee comes about, it's going to be powerful, because that first phase was, you know, kind of your first phase. But see, Angelique has now had an opportunity to spend some time just really digging in and learning a lot herself. And I know that she's, you know, met with a lot of subject matter experts on the topics, and she's ready to dig in. And then of course, with all of the things that have gone on in our nation, she's probably been able to add that, I would, you know, assume. But whoever has signed up for it, congratulations. I think you're going to have a great experience. And I would just encourage you to please hang in there, you know, do the work, stay in there, and stay for the long term, you know, on those committees, and help them get their work done. So I don't know the specifics of it. Again, I think you all are going to maybe have some time with Angie Lee, and she'll be able to really dig in and talk more about the committee.
Okay, so for those that want to participate on the committee, the sign up is on the district website. If you go to the district website, it will be on your right-hand side under one of those beautiful, colorful little tabs they have on the side over there. It's the Racial Equity Committee. Or you can do the Let's Talk, and you can choose between one of those. Like when you want to send Dr. Stone a message, it'll ask you Racial Equity Committee, and then you can submit your information in there. Let's see, I have another question. I think we had a question come in. Let me see if I can get it. So someone mentioned that our A schools have culture competency coaches on the campus. Is that something that can be replicated within all the schools, or just those campuses?
That would be a question that would be directed to Dr. Stone and her team specifically. But
okay,
that's definitely a Dr. Stone.
Okay. Now I have a question, because as you can see, I have my sage shirt on. Woo!
Woo, woo.
So, I sit on the Council of PTA as the social and emotional wellness chair for SAGE. And so with everything that's happening, everything that our students are going in, will there be some social and emotional help for our students once they are back in class? Because like I said, our kids are going through it. They are going through it emotionally, mentally, physically. A lot of them they just don't know what's happening. And I know we all are concerned for our teachers, but I think some of the conversation gets lost about the mental well-being of our students. So will there be something in place for our students when they are finally back in the classrooms, or will campus counselors be available via Zoom for our students if they want or need that support?
Yeah, I'm gonna say yes. I'm not 100% sure, but it is definitely something that I would advocate for, and that I will, circle back with Dr. Stone and make sure that that happens. I'm sure that something's already put in place for it, because I will tell you that, as I stated earlier, I have a son who is a senior at Richardson, and he was super excited about this year because, number one, it's his senior year.
Right.
And not only that, some great things had happened. He had become drum major. And he worked really hard to become drum major. And now, he may not get a chance to do that.
Yeah.
On top of that, we're here at home. And yes, I'm concerned on a daily basis about exactly what you're talking about. So I would definitely suggest, and I would make the assumption that our administrative staff has already prepared for that. So I can definitely get some information and make sure that I'm right about that, and provide that to us after this.
Awesome. I think that's not only for when our students come back, but I think that should be something lovely. I would love if we can get our corporations that are in our districts, in our school district especially, if they would, and I don't even know how we would go about doing that, if they would even donate funding or have funding for each of our feeder patterns to actually have a social emotional wellness room within the schools, where a student may be having issues that they don't directly want to talk to their teacher about, and they can just go there. And because our kids go through things daily. My youngest daughter was bullied for a while.
Yeah.
And it cut her down a lot. And it took us a while to get back to a place where she had self-confidence.
Yeah.
And I think having someone in the school that she could go to and actually just sit and talk for a period,
Right.
gave her that. And, because all our students can't afford a therapist. All our students
Absolutely
can't
not.
afford to go to a counselor.
Right.
And I think that would be an addition to our students' well-being, because their mental health is considered all of them. You have to address the whole child and not just part of the child. And I think that emotional component would be so beneficial to our students and their growth in school.
Yeah, I totally agree. So yeah, I will definitely circle back with you and Lowry on that one.
Let's see, do we have any more questions, anyone? Let's see, I don't see. Okay.
Regina, can you hear me?
Yes.
Popping back in. I have a question for you.
Uh-huh.
I forgot the term, Danita, maybe you can help me think of this, that somebody said the other idea. The services around the families that help them come to school with equity. So the meals, the emotional health, like you were talking about, the health care. What does RISD, do we have the funding that's needed to help make those things possible? And how can we help? Because I know that's such a huge part of the inequity, is that they get to school on unequal footing.
Yeah, I know that we do have several services out there that are continuing to, provide the food for our students. If there's some additional help that they need, we'll definitely get back to you and let you know where we need that help. But yeah, I know that we were still, providing food to those families. So I will
wraparound, as somebody said.
Yeah, it's called wraparound services.
Yeah.
Yeah, it addresses the entire family, not just the
right.
student. It addresses the entire family.
Okay. That's so important. So
We
want to help with that, and I feel there are going to be more and more families facing needs like that. So
yeah. Well,
right.
Yeah, Lori. Yeah, we're gonna get back with you on several things. So we'll definitely combine all of that and the things that we talked about earlier in the email.
We can partner and help you guys do your good work.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. We definitely need that. That would be great.
What is your favorite thing about being on the school board?
You know, it really was going out to the schools, just kind of, you know, just listening to the principals and just kind of getting involved with the students, listening to the students, and really just being visible. You know, I really want to make sure that I'm visible and that I'm available
Okay.
to our communities. So that's the part that's exciting. Um, and just hoping that once my term is up,
Mm-hmm.
that I have somebody else that looks like me that's going to take my place.
So how does that work? How long does the term have?
The terms are 3 years.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you're coming on your first year?
I was just elected in November. I'm super new. Not as new as Debbie Rendria, but I'm new. Yeah. Yeah. So
Well,
I have not had my first year yet. So I'm still just a little baby.
hopefully you can get back into the schools real soon.
I know. I really, really, really missed that part, you know. Yeah, I missed that part a lot. I even missed that part just from, you know, just my son being in school. And, you know, like I said, my son's been in band well, he started in band in 5th grade. But even at Richardson, just kind of going up there, hanging out with the band and volunteering in that perspective. And, you know, of course, I think we all just miss everything about school right now. So even though it's summertime, but we still just miss school.
I know.
I'm not sure if we answered that or I missed the memo or the email. So our official start date is still August 19th, but it will be virtual until Labor Day, correct?
That's what we're hearing.
Okay. And at that point, you will decide whether or not virtual continue?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Because I know a lot of people were having questions about that.
Yeah.
Now,
and I think right now there's been a bunch of announcements for a lot of different school districts. I think ours is coming pretty soon. So I think we'll have some more solid content on that coming probably in the next, what's tomorrow, Friday, probably Friday.
okay.
Yeah.
And for our students that are involved in athletics and extracurricular activities, what would that look like for them? Will, let's say,
I personally got an email today
mm-hmm.
from my son's band director saying that, you know, all those things were on hold.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and you know, we're in a time of uncertainty right now. It's you know, and it's just so unfortunate that I have to wake up every morning and turn on the news just to see what's happening.
Right.
You know, and it's almost different every day. It's very, very frustrating. It's very frustrating. So, and then unfortunately for us, you know, we have to get direction from TEA, from our governor. So we have to wait for those things to come down and kind of make the decisions from there. But, you know, thank goodness, I think Dr. Stone has done a great job trying to communicate as quickly as she can. So it's just a very uncertain time. It's just unfortunate. So.
And it's hard because it's wait and see. She can't really relay information till she gets it. And then once she gets it out to the masses, it changes. And then she has to do it again. And so it's just a lot to keep up with. And I think you being on here to help bring some of the concerns that we have and issues that we have to light and give us some understanding of where our district is going.
Yeah. And I think that, you know, we all hate the situation that we're in right now, but, you know, I think one of the things that it has allowed all of us to do is come together like this.
Yeah.
You know, and it has given everybody an opportunity to just kind of sit back and kind of have some thought process about things that are going on now. It's going on too long right now. I'm kind of ready. I'm ready to get back to normal now. But I think that it has, you know, sometimes you just kind of have to look at the glass half full or, you know, half empty. And
we've had chance to reflect. But
Yes.
but we do know, and I'll point out again to our members that this whole pandemic hurts our Black and brown neighbors
Absolutely.
more. It
It
just
does.
does, and the statistics play that out. So as RASD becomes aware of people's needs, you know, we just want to be there to help fill those gaps.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And, you know, I would encourage you, both of you, to continue to provide us with your thoughts and your ideas and continue to do things like this. This is phenomenal. As a matter of fact, today, someone sent me a video of the memorial.
Oh.
And he was super passionate about it. He was like, this is just absolutely wonderful. So I thank you for that, because it's great. It's great. So thank you.
We're hoping, our plan is for it to go to some different
Yes.
area high schools.
We want it to be a traveling interactive
Yes.
memorial
Yes.
in each of our high school area feeder patterns.
Yeah, that's super cool. I really like that.
You know, it's been too long. I'm so glad you started. You got into this to help bring more people of different diversity and different backgrounds to the table, and that you and Danita are such role models for single working moms, aim to show that not just your kids, but everybody's kids are a priority. I mean, if you guys can do it, then other people can do it. And so I just thank you for that, showing
Absolutely.
us.
And, you know, just real quick, I went to one of our elementary schools, and you know, this is kind of one of my heart stories. I went to an elementary school. It was right before, you know, spring break, and I think we must have been maybe third or fourth grade. And so there was a little African American little girl, and so she saw me and she said, "Oh, who are you?" And I was like, what do you mean? She was like, are you like the president or something? And it just almost brought tears to my eyes, because she knew, even though I don't consider myself important by any means, you know, but she knew that here was this lady walking in this door that looks like me. And my teacher is acting kind of weird. Like, this lady is kind of important, you know? And she was super excited. I mean, she was like, who are you? I mean, I had to, you know, dip down so I could hear her. And she was, and I couldn't figure out how to kind of explain to her who I am, you know, because I knew she wouldn't really understand school board or whatever, you know. But I think I just kind of got down to her level, and, you know, I told her I was her friend and she and I could be really good friends. She was so excited, but I mean, she just lit up. And those are the things that we want in our community. You know, that is, I didn't do anything, you know, I just walked in the door, you know, and I'm, you know, sure, I had my RISD badge on, but she knew immediately that, okay, this lady is something or somebody. And my job was done. My job was done.
Great.
That is so important. That's so important for our kids.
Yeah.
And for our kids to have that in a classroom every day. That is so important.
Yes.
So important. I can't keep up with how many times my son has had to explain to his white teacher that he's okay.
Yeah.
He's just, I don't like to talk about what's wrong with me. I'm okay.
Yeah.
I don't, because they just don't understand the dynamics.
Right.
So that's real important for our children to be able to come to class and have someone that looks like us that can relate to us.
Absolutely. So again, at that point, and I'll never forget that. I mean, that little girl doesn't realize she made my day more than I made her day.
Yeah.
Because again, I knew right then, I know why I'm on this board.
That's right. That to be
awesome.
Representative. Thank you. And Regina, I want to point out that it's not just important for Danita's kids, but for my kids to see someone like you
Yes.
position too. That's so
Yeah.
amazing. So Regina, thank you so much for joining us. Danita, I'll let you have the closing words.
So closing words. I just want to say that from the short time span that my family has been in Richardson ISD, from the first impression I received until now, I'm thankful for the progress. I am hopeful for more progression. I am here for the work. And I know there are many others that are here for the work.
Yes.
And we won't sit idly by and watch our community be destroyed from within. We are here for change, and we are to help you with this change. No matter what you want us to do, you need us to do, we're here for that change.
Yeah.
And I just want to thank you for your time, because it's a lot of work.
Yes.
School board, mom, job.
Yes.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
I thank you, and I hope that we're able to have Advocacy Day next year.
I know.
I hope we are, but
Yeah.
I don't know how virtual that would look, but yeah. So I want to thank you again, Lori, for this, and I'll sing it to the rooftops. And thank you, Regina, for being on tonight. And I can't wait for you to be on again to give us some more updates of what's going on.
Absolutely.
And Lori, do you have anything? You're muted.
I still love this little children's book I have. Oh, here it is. This I Can Do Hard Things.
Yes.
And together we can do hard things. And
we can do it.
Right.
We can do it.
Yay. We can do it.
So thank you. Have a good night. I know you're probably not about to go to sleep, but have a good night. And until next time.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Regina.
Good night.
Good night.